Hi, so let's look at this question together. The price of the item increased from $36 to $50 in a week. All right, price B increased by half as many dollars to the previous one. Then what's going to be happening? So in case of A, it went from 36 to $50. Now this means it has gone $14. It has gone up by $14. On the other hand, the B item has gone up half as many dollars. So we have 52. It has go up half as many as this one, which ends up being $7. So therefore we end up getting 59, and that becomes our answer. Alright, number 10. Since the beginning of the year, the number of articles on Randy's website has doubled during every 2 months. Now, doubling talks about multiplying by 2, but every 2 months implies, in fact, somewhat exponential kind of concept. Now, so one way for us to prove this one is through the exponential function, or another way would have been using the logic. So there were 7,200 articles beginning of July. How many articles were in Randy's website in the beginning of January? So we have January. 2 months later it will be March. 2 months later it will be May, and then 2 months later it will be July. So in July we have 7,200. Now if we go backwards, then instead of doubling it, we have to probably half it. So we end up getting 3,600. And 2 months earlier it would have been 1,800. And 2 months earlier it would have been simply 900. Now, therefore, yes, our answer will be 900 articles. Number 11. So here, figure above, squares ABCD, which is ABCG, which is a small one, and CDEF, which is a bigger one, shares a point C. Now, DG is 15 from here to here. What is the sum of the perimeter of the two squares? You know what? I don't know each side, but why don't we call this one as side A, and let's call this one as side B. And one thing that we get to realize is A plus B will be equal to 15. But how many sides of A do we have in this small square? We have 4A. How about from the big square? We're going to have 4B. So when you add them up, we get to realize that, hey, wait a minute, what we are trying to calculate is 4 times the earlier one. So what we end up getting is 4 times 15. That should be our answer, which is equal to 60. All right. Next. A is equal to 4B and B is equal to 5C. Notice that B has repeated. And A is equal to DC, then we want to find the value of D. You see, one thing that which we get to realize is this. Since B is equal to 5C, if you're to substitute 5C in place of B, then we'll get something like this. A is equal to 4 times 5C. Now, which will be equal to 20C. Well, that's what we want to compare to DC. Since C are the same, D must be equal to 20. All right, number 13. She has 15 dramas and then 15 comedies on it. What is the least number of DVDs that Rebecca could remove so that the ratio of dramas to comedy is 5 to 3? So drama to comedy has to be, or 3 to 5. Now, but the thing is, we know that both of them has 15 each. The fact that we want to remove the least number of the DVDs, that means we shouldn't touch comedy. In other words, the ratio of 3 to 5, what should we multiply to this one so that comedy can be comparable to 15? Yes, we can simply multiply by 3. Then 3 times 5 becomes 15, and 3 times 3 becomes 9. The fact that 15 became 9 then means we have to subtract 6. So therefore, 6 DVDs has to be removed. That becomes our answer. Alright, what is one possible value of y? Now here, absolute value. In fact, did you realize the absolute value of a minus b on the side? In fact, that's exactly equal to b minus a. Now, therefore, another way for us to write this one is this. 3y minus 2 has to be less than 2. That can become our answer. Now, another thing which we can do is this. If we divide the whole thing by 3, then we end up getting y minus 2/3 is less than 2/3. In other words, in this case, one thing that which we could have done is that this expression tells us a very important story. I understand we can do this one in another way. We can try to just pick a particular value and then try to see if it satisfies to this inequality, but this will be more fundamental and a deeper way for us to know. This simply means that the absolute value here represents the distance from 2/3. Has to be less than 2/3 itself. So that means if you have to draw the number line from 2/3, the distance has to be 2/3 in either direction. Then if from 2/3, if you go below 2/3, then it will be equal to 0. And from 2/3, if you go up by 2/3, then we'll end up getting 4/3. So anything between those two will be our answer. All right, great. Here, we have an equilateral triangle. AB is congruent to BC. CD is congruent to DE. And then we realize that it's a rectangle. What fraction of the area is shaded? That means one simple way for us to do it is this. What if you have to connect these 2 points? And so is this point. Then you will realize that we have these 4 triangles on the side. They're congruent to each other. Another thing which we can do is this. If you cut through the middle here, then we get to realize that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and top 7, 8. We have total 8 triangles within a big triangle. How many of them are shaded? 6 of them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 6/8 becomes our fraction, or 3/4 is our fraction of the area that had been shaded. Number 16. Here, all we have to do is, for what number I don't know, so we're just going to call it as n, the cube root of the number. So cube root of that number is the same as, meaning equal signs, the number divided by 100. So all we have to do is get rid of the cube root. The way we can do it is by cubing both sides. So we're going to have n is equal to n cubed over cube of 100 becomes basically, we're going to have 6 zeros. And then by cross multiplying, then we get 1 million n equals n cubed. And n's can cancel out. We have 1 million is equal to n squared. Then what's the value of n? If you square root both sides, then 1 million becomes 1,000. Yes, technically we have positive and negative, but the question was only asking for the positive number. Alright, let us move on to the next question. Here we have, underline the word rate. It tells you that the beginning was 1.5 pounds of sand was already full. And while 7 meters, after 7 meters, we have 6 3/4 left. What is the value of x? Meaning x pounds per minute. You see the pounds per minute, it talks about the rate, meaning the slope. So all we have to do is find the slope. So let's look at it. We have one point is 0 comma 3 over 2, 1.5 becomes 3 over 2. The other one is times 7 minutes later, we end up having 6.75. Now to find the slope, what we have to do is y2 minus y1, 1.5, over 7 minus 0. Then here we end up getting 5.22 is left, divided by 7. Now, oh, 5, sorry. Then we end up getting 0.75 as our final answer. Next question. That's the expression that we have. Then what is the greatest possible value of a? So let's look at it. A plus b squared, that basically means a squared plus 2ab plus b squared. Second one has to be less than or equal to a squared minus 2ab plus b squared plus 36. Now, as you can see, b squares are the same, so is a squared. So when we cancel them out, that's what we end up getting. By adding 2ab, so that we could have number by itself, we get to realize that 4ab must be less than or equal to 36. Now, so from here, if we divide by 4, then we get to realize that 8 times b must be less than or equal to 9. But how can you have a being the greatest, but it cannot exceed a, as you can see here? That means b has to be as small as possible, so that we could have 9 as their product. The only way that's possible is if a is equal to 3 and b is also equal to 3.